Take this overboard now.
Hey T Squad, it's me Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 Episode 5 review. So this week's episode begins with Valentine's Day, which is actually Emily and her husband's anniversary. So we see Heather at her house, and she's telling her husband how Katie accused her of calling a paparazzi on them, and he laughs it off and was like, we all know I love the pap, so if she got a number, she need to give it to me so I can call them on me all the time. And she has Gina and Jen come over, and she really wanted them to come over so she could confront Gina about why she didn't tell her that Katie was going around telling people this about her, but disguises it as a girls' day where they're going to do some, spa treatments and stuff at the crib. Meanwhile, Jen comes over with a full face of makeup, and I'm like, girl, how are you doing skincare with makeup on? Like, be for real. Katie has Shannon over to her house, and I thought it was really sweet that she got Shannon a Valentine's Day gift. I thought that was really nice of her. They sit down and they have a one-on-one conversation because they're getting to know one another, and Shannon really likes Katie thus far. And Shannon says that she does need to have a conversation with Tamra because, she's been going around saying this, that, and the third about her. So Katie shows Shannon the text message with the paparazzi guy friend of hers where she asked him, did Heather call the paparazzi on herself? And he said yes. And I'm like, that's not a receipt though. No. Just because he said yeah don't mean that it's true. Like, we need actual proof, my love, and that's not enough. And if she did call the paparazzi on herself, who cares? They looked stupid. It looked staged. And if it wasn't, it was just cringy. So I don't know if that was like a good thing for her to make her storyline coming into the season, but it's already happened now and she gotta basically deal with it. So back at Heather's house, she asks Gina when did she find out about the situation with Katie, and Gina fesses up and says, I knew about it months ago when I met her. And Heather is, of course, upset because she was like, why didn't you come and tell me? And it's funny how Gina was trying not to be the villain in the situation and ended up being the villain anyway, even though she was told Katie, don't bring this up to the other ladies. She did it anyway, and now it's all falling back on Gina. Gina says, I messed up. I should have told you. So now Heather's looking at Gina sideways, and I'm trying to figure out, when did Gina and Heather get back cool? Because remember last season it was real iffy between them two, but I guess somehow, some way they've gotten things back on track. Well, up until then. So at dinner, Shane upgraded Emily's ring, and she was so nonchalant about it. It was just like, oh, okay. That was so weird to me, her non-reaction. Like, he upgraded her ring. Like, it was huge, it was her engagement ring, and she was blasé, like he just passed to her the butter. It was so awkward to me, but whatever. So Katie and Gina meet up to talk, and Katie tells Gina that she felt abandoned by her with the whole Heather situation, and that she felt like she took Heather's side and she could have found a way to be neutral about the whole thing. I don't agree with that at all. Like, Katie girl, stop trying to bring her into this. You are the one that decided to run and tell Emily and them about the situation after Gina told you not to. Like, Gina didn't even tell Emily. She kept it to herself, but you wanted to open your big mouth and have a moment, and exactly what Gina told you was going to happen happened. They ran back and told Heather as fast as they could. And now you feel like she just left you out there to pasture, but girl, you the one brought this on yourself. Like, I don't think that it's fair for her to try to guilt trip Gina. That's not cool. So Gina was like, but I'm not gonna stay neutral. I did have your back. I told you not to bring it up, and you did. So Gina says that, at the end of the day, she's gonna have Heather's back because her and Heather are friends, and let's face it, her and Katie just met each other at that point a few months prior. Like, I don't really know you like that. We're cool, we're getting to know one another, but that's still a very close friend of mine. Now, unless Gina was talking smack about Heather with her, then that's a whole nother story. So Katie begins to cry because she feels like everything that they talked about is now somehow being used against her. And I'm like, okay, I'm confused. Like, where did that come from? Like, huh? What have you told her that now she's using against you? Unless, like I said, unless they was on the phone Kiki and talking about Heather together, and now Emily's trying to act like she wasn't involved in it and it was just Katie saying stuff about Heather to her, then okay, I can get it. And that's what I'm low-key wondering, like, was Gina talking crap about Heather with Katie? That's what I need to know at this point, because other than that, Katie, you doing team too much and you trying to place blame because now you done got torched by Heather and everybody told you that was going to happen. So Shannon meets with her father and tells him that she has to get a breathalyzer placed in her car. And she tells her daddy that she's limiting herself to 2 drinks and that she really doesn't drink like that. But when she does, she only has 2 drinks. I personally think that that is not a smart decision, considering everything that has happened, considering everything that we've seen with Shannon and drinking over the years of her being on this show. I think that she just needs to give up drinking. It's a crutch for her and she needs to stop. Like, just having 2 drinks as a minimum is not good for her. Alcohol and Shannon don't mix. She's already a very emotional person, and that just causes her to spiral even more. So I don't think that she should continue to drink, but she a grown woman. She gonna do what she want to do at the end of the day. So her dad tells her to fight John back in court over this $75,000. Because like, you coming for my daughter, and he tells her to go for the juggler. And I don't blame him. If Shannon is telling the truth that this was a gift, then yeah, I'm gonna take you to court and get you for everything you got, because you playing on my top, like you really truly are. And I feel like it's a money grab. I honestly do. I feel like he's trying to have or pretend to have this lifestyle with Alexis that he really cannot probably afford. So Tamra visits Alexis at Alexis' house for the first time. And this little friendship between them is so fake. And I'm like, Alexis, you're so dumb, because we all know that Tamra is a snake and she's setting you up for failure. You think that you back in with the girls, Tamra like you now, it's about to be all good. Let me tell you, next season, Tamra is going to eat Alexis alive and use everything that Alexis has told her over the past year against her, because that's Tamra's MO. Watch what I tell you. And she gonna be back ousted again and being called Jesus jugs and an airhead and everything else. But for right now, Tamra's pretending like she actually likes the girl and she's falling for it. And so Tamra tells Alexis that Shannon was, always crying when they were friends. She was very dramatic. She was always calling her with her problems and how it affected her family life, and how her husband and children would tell her not to answer the phone. And that when she ever did go through something, Shannon was never there for her. Now, do I believe the part about Shannon always calling her crying and, with her problems? Absolutely, because she's not the only person that has said it. Shannon drunk dial people and tell all of her business and sobbing and woe is me, and that is very much Shannon. Shannon is very much Eeyore. everything is just made into a mountain with her, and so that can be very draining on people. Like, don't nobody want to hear that all the time. So I don't think that Tamra is lying about that. I really don't. But it is messed up that you're talking about somebody that you've been friends with for over 10 years with somebody that you barely liked, you probably still don't like, and the person that your ex-best friend is, this girl is dating her ex-boyfriend that she literally just broke up with. Like, that's just so dirty of Tamra. Like, that's why I just can never like her, because she is like a despicable person. So Tamra says that Shannon would tell her that John never paid for anything. And once again, I tell y'all all the time, I pay attention to people's body language and the things that they're not saying, but their body is saying for them. I'm going to show you the still pictures that I took of Alexis when Tamra was saying that Shannon would tell her how John never paid for anything. Look at these photographs. These were her expressions on her face the whole time Tamra was talking, and it gave guilty to me. It gave very much, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going to pretend like it's not happening to me too. This one was really telling of the photographs. Her posture, the fact that she was folding her arms, covering herself, because if he was over there taking care of business and taking care of her and doing all of this, I feel like her body language would have been totally different on some, like, girl, not me, couldn't be me. She was quiet as a church mouse, did not have anything to say. And watch when this relationship implodes in her face, everything that Shannon was saying about that man is going to be the same thing that Alexis says about him. She looked like she was shameful. Like, I'm over here doing the same thing for this man. Like, he ain't doing nothing for me neither, but I can't tell these girls that. That's what it was given. So then Tamra says that Shannon told her that she borrowed $60K from John. And Alexa was like, no, 75. He's shown me everything. I have receipts. But then pay attention to Tamra in her confessional. Tamra says, and I quote, she told me he paid for her facelift. So which one is it? Because you telling Tamra that she told you that she borrowed $60K from him. But then in your confessional, you're saying that Shannon told you that he paid for her facelift. So which one is it, Tamra? And this is what Tamra does. She likes to take a word and change it around to make it more sensational. She likes to sensationalize things. And she takes the littlest things and make them into a big thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that man gave her a loan. I think that he did that for her. And I think now, because the money ain't what it used to be, and that Alexis is requiring a certain lifestyle for him that he's trying to pretend that he has. He's trying to go after Shannon for that money and act like it was a loan. I really honestly do. And like I said, Tamra is just horrible. So it's the day of Gina's dinner where she's getting all the girls together. Shannon brings Vicky with her so she won't have to be alone, because like, really, out of all of these girls, who is she really friends with and that will stick up for her? Nobody, for real. Gina and Emily actually shocked me. I was very proud of them for having a mind of their own somewhat. But I think that it was smart of her to bring Vicky. I love Vicky being on the show. Vicky is the OG of the OC and of Housewives, period. And whether you like Vicky or not, she's great television. So Tamra arrives in the same dress that Gina wears in her confessional. And I must say that it looked better on Tamra. I don't like the way Gina styled it for her confessional. Heather doesn't want to sit across from Katie or next to Gina and asked Gina, is that okay at her own event? And she was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, how you gonna come and not want to sit anywhere near the host? Like, you shouldn't have came. Like, you're that upset with her. Like, girl, grow up. So Alexis asked Katie why she wasn't invited to the golf thing. And Katie was like, I just wanted to give Shannon a break. Like, it's a lot, girl. Like, come on. Like, Be serious. Like, you understand what's going on. And like, Alexis, grow up. Who cares if you weren't invited? Who cares? She don't have to invite you. You're a friend of. Sit down. Shannon and Vicky arrive last, and everybody's shocked to see Vicky. Vicky actually speaks to Alexis, and Alexis speaks back and says, "Look who's in my world now," because that's how Vicky introduced herself to her years ago. And Vicky looked at her and she was like, "I'm in her world." Sit down, bitch. I was like, exactly. Like, cause girl, stop. She's so happy she back on this show. But I'm like, girl, once again, you're a friend of. Stop. So Vicky says that it's okay for Shannon to have a drink since they're not driving. And Jen was like, I mean, you know, she's an adult. She can do what she want to do. And Tamra jumps in and was like, yeah, an alcoholic should drink. And everybody at the table was just quiet, like, oh my God, did she really just go there? Did she really just say that? And she did. And I agree. You should not be drinking, especially on camera. And if you are going to continue to drink, I wouldn't have told nobody. That would have been a secret between me and God himself. Okay. I wouldn't have told nobody. Okay. I just think that it's a bad look for Shannon considering everything that has happened. Is Tamra being harsh about the situation? Yes, but sometimes you have to be like that with people for them to get it. And it seems like everybody around Shannon is kind of coddling her. And I do believe that certain people need tough love. And I feel like Tamra thinks that that's the right way to go about it. And I also feel that Tamra is using this as a storyline. I honestly do. I think that she cares, but I also think that this is a win for her to have a reason to attack Shannon. Point blank and period. So she says to Vicky, do you truly believe she doesn't have a drinking problem? And Shannon was like, you've been on this path for 10 years with me. Basically saying, you need to stop with this whole I got an alcoholism type problem. And Tamra was like, everybody has been on this road with you. So Shannon says, every freaking day I wake up, I think about what happened. And Tamra was like, is that after you have a drink? Baby, that was a good comeback. Great comeback. And I was like, ooh, Shannon, you set yourself up for that one. Emily then jumps in surprisingly and was like, I think she's changed. And Gina was like, I do too. And she says to Tamra, I understand why it's hard for you, but I don't think this is the way to get what you're looking for. Like being so harsh about it and mean and outing her in front of everybody, like probably isn't the right way to go about things. And a part of me agrees with Emily and then, Gina, and then another part of me feels like sometimes tough love is the way to go, you know, but I think that it coming from Tamra is just not real to me. It doesn't. Shannon then brings up Tamra and her drinking. Like, girl, you done been face planted on the floor, everything else. Like, you can't talk neither. Do I think that Tamra has a drinking problem? No, I don't. Do I think that Shannon has a drinking problem? Yes, I do. I think that she uses it as a crutch. 1000%. So, Tamra then brings up her line about John paying for everything and owing John money. And at that point, Shannon was looking at her like, yo, I'm done. Like, I can't believe you're even saying that and throwing it up in my face in front of all these girls, especially Alexis. And I'm like, why are you, this is why I can't trust Tamra or anything that comes out of her mouth, because now you're running with the narrative that Alexis told you when you don't even know if that's true or not. You don't know because you weren't in either of their relationships. All you can do is go off what both of these girls are telling you, but at the end of the day, you don't know. So why throw that up in that girl's face when you don't even know if that's the case for real? And that's why I don't feel like she's genuinely concerned about Shannon, because if you were, you wouldn't be doing stuff like that. So Shannon at that point is pissed. She gets up and leaves the table, and Jen goes to check on her and tells her how Alexis is at the table showing everybody the wire transfers that John sent her. And Shannon was just like, girl, you have no idea about John Jansen. Like, it's so much that I could say about this man. And I was like, well, girl, you better get to saying it because they pulling out receipts. But even that receipt doesn't mean anything. Just because he wired her the money don't mean that that was a loan. Unless he had on that wire transfer loan, you know what I'm saying? Then that's still not a valid receipt. So Tamra tells Vicky one-on-one, she was like, you know that I didn't quit the Tres Amigas because of you. It was because of her. And she tells Vicky that she enables her drinking. And Vicky says, you know, I don't enable her or whatever. She needs people right now. Heather then tells Alexis, like, I think you need to chill. Like, because you coming in way too hot, you know, when it comes to Shannon. Like, calm down. And she is doing the most. She's doing too much. And Alexa was like, I want to be friends with her. And Emily clocks her and was like, girl, you can't say that and bring receipts. Like, it don't add up. So then Alexis get mad and says that she's leaving and grabs her purse to go. And the episode goes off. Alexis is doing too much. She's a try hard. And like, how are you doing all of this behind a man you only been dating for a few months? Like, you look absolutely ridiculously stupid. And I wish somebody would say that to her. Like, you don't know what happened in their relationship. All you can go on is what this man is telling you, which could be the truth or it could be a lie. But at the end of the day, it ain't got nothing to do with you. And the fact that you're on this show fighting his battles and going up against Shannon is so stupid. I hope she don't think that this is a way for her to get back on the show. It's cringy and it's embarrassing. It really honestly is. I do feel sorry for Shannon to an extent, but a lot of this she did bring on to herself. I do think that she needs to stop drinking, period. And I do think that a part of Vicky kind of does still enable her with the drinking and whooping it up and stuff like that. And I think that Tamra is a biz-and-I-E and a snake and really doesn't care about anybody, period. So that's my thoughts on this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm going to give this week's episode a B+. It was quite good. Oh, and I hate that Gina is taking the fall for something that Katie did. I don't think that Heather should have been that mad at her. I mean, it's some paparazzi mess. Like, it ain't nothing detrimental to your life. Like, it ain't nothing that serious. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this week's episode down below in the comment section. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.